Again, Orrin, is absolutely great advice. Was being purpose driven. I really believe in that because I've heard it so many times from successful entrepreneurs like yourself. I love Start With Why by Simon Sinek. By the
Yes.
way, my favorite one is when people talk about best quality. That's the one I prefer.
Yeah, I can imagine. You could see that apart. Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about your growth coming from mergers and acquisitions, because I never had anybody on the show, would you believe that, talking about that topic. So I am not sure where we should start. Actually, tell me, where should we start?
Yeah, sure. No, I can give a high level perspective on it. So the one way to assess if there is this type of opportunity in your business, if you're an entrepreneur, is to look at your market and say, how many companies are there that do what you do? Okay. And how differentiated is it?
Mm.
So the maths of our space, Laurent, and I'll illustrate it through talking about our example, and they can then reverse engineer it into their space. But there are about 20,000 companies that do what NetShirt does in the US. That includes a small 5-person organization right the way through to someone that's got thousands of people. So there are about 20,000. It's a very, very competitive market. So it's quite, it's what we would call a red ocean. Now, that is the perfect situation for consolidation. So these entrepreneurs, Laurent, that are in our space in the US, as an example, are saying it's hard to get leads because there's so many competitors. Okay,
Yeah.
You've got artificial intelligence coming. People are excited about, but it's disruption. So it's making people think, okay, like, do I want to go this all on my own? A whole lot of private equity firms have focused on our market to consolidate it. So that's another indicator that it's potentially good for consolidation. So we could carry on doing acquisitions for the next 10 years, and there would still be a massive opportunity for consolidation in the market. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're considering, is M&A a potential option for me? I would recommend a book by Adam Kofi called The Private Equity Playbook, which for me speaks really well to what M&A could look like and how you can leverage the economic force of private equity to succeed. Yeah, Adam Kofi's book, The Private Equity Playbook, is a great book on sort of understanding what the economic opportunity is and how to leverage debt to fund your acquisitions. So that's one consideration. Look, the bottom line is the profit. So often as entrepreneurs, what you find sometimes is they're like, I don't want any debt. I want everything paid off. I don't want any debt. And sometimes leveraging debt strategically in M&A can create a faster growth than organic growth. And 9 times out of 10 it will. But in the same breath, even if you do M&A and you grow by acquisition, you have to protect your organic growth, because hypothetically, I go from $50 million in revenue to $100 million in revenue. Okay. And then someone says to me, Orrin, what's your organic growth inside that? If I'm not organically growing, all I'm proving is that my investment thesis is fundamentally flawed. So when I buy a business, I actually decrease the number of customers and revenue. So it's like the worst economic thesis I could ever possibly have. But yeah, if you've got a fragmented market with lots of competition, it can be a great opportunity for acquisitive growth. Or if you're seeing a disruption coming in your space and you don't think you can adapt and evolve your business quick enough, it might be an opportunity to merge or acquire a business that you feel is doing a good job of that. And you look at a lot of these big groups, Laurent, like Cisco have done it for years. So Cisco, as an example, they will buy the new innovative company instead of trying to create it themselves. IBM have done it, Microsoft have done it, and even smaller players do it. You go and buy an agency or a company that does something really well in a space that you're not good at, you're trying to, but you want to be in that space.
Yeah, and they become so big that they can't innovate anymore also, I think.
Yes.